What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Talk Our Sports with Jake. Hope we're all doing well. Couple of small signings in baseball. Cedric Mullins goes to the Tampa Bay Rays for a year, since a one-year deal with them. See ya, Cedric. He was very bad for the Mets down the stretch last year. He has a pretty decent track record in the league. He had a 30 homer season and hit 290 in 2021 with Baltimore. Was an All-Star that year. Ever since then, has not recaptured that. He had 258, 16 homers, 64 RBIs, a 720 OPS in 22 and 23. OPS was exactly the same, 721, but he only hit 233, 15 home runs, 74 RBIs. He hit 234, 18 homers, 54 RBIs in 24. Last year, between Baltimore and the Mets, probably the worst year of his career as a full-time player in a full season. Hit just 216, a 690 OPS, 17 home runs, 59 RBIs. Hit 229 with 15 pops, 49 ribbies with the Orioles, with 738 OPS in 91 games with them. In 42 games with the Mets, hit just 182 for 565 OPS. He's a terrible outfielder as well. Going to be 31 years old, so getting a little bit older. Not a good outfielder. He's a fine like fourth or fifth outfielder. He's got power. Does have some pop. He's got some power. The right situation, could be a decent bench fit, but that's about it. Won't be missing Queens for sure. He was a very bad trade deadline pickup by the Mets, but he goes to the Rays. And the Cincinnati Reds re-signed Emilio Pagan, 2 years, 20 million. Very good move for them. Did a very good job for them last year. Last year, pitching 70 games for them. Had 2.88 ERA with 32 saves and 68 and two-thirds, 81 strikeouts, just 22 walks. Had a excuse me, great season. His best year since 2019 with Tampa. He's been kind of a guy who year to year is inconsistent. Like his rookie year in 2017 with Seattle, he had a 3.22, only pitched 34 games, and the year after that in Oakland had a 4.35. Then he had 2.31 in 66 games with the Rays. 2019, the following year in the pandemic year, struggled with the Padres. Wasn't very good with the Padres in 21. But then, then was just kind of meh with the Twins, but was very good with the Twins in 23. 4.5 ERA, battled injuries in his first year with the Reds, but last year was very good. So he's been inconsistent, but overall is a good reliever. 477 career games across 9 seasons, 3.66 career ERA, 65 career saves. In a weak Reds bullpen, he was their best arm. Was great down the stretch. I expect him to close again for the Reds unless they make a big move for another big name, but doubt that happens. He's back in Cincinnati. San Francisco Giants hired Ron Washington as their infield coach. It was originally reported he was going to the A's. That was corrected. He's going to the San Francisco Giants. Good for Ron Washington. First of all, that's a good hire by the Giants. He's one of the best infield coaches in all of baseball. It's a great hire for Tony Vitello, of course, their new manager, jumping right from the Tennessee Volunteers to be the Giants' next manager. And Ron Washington's been in baseball forever. Obviously had some health issues last year. So he stepped away from managing the Los Angeles Angels. He was fired after the season for I don't even know why. He was done very, very dirty. That was just a pathetic decision by the Angels. Their manager was Kurt Suzuki, who was a good player. He caught for the Angels, but there's no coach experience whatsoever. I don't expect that to work out very well. The Angels are a joke. I'm happy Red Washington is back in baseball as an assistant coach. And if he wants to manage, I think next couple of years he does want to manage. Another guy's 100 years old, but if he wants to manage, he's a good manager. He took the Texas Rangers to the World Series all those years ago. But he's back in baseball as the infield coach with the San Francisco Giants. And then last thing before we move on, North Texas has found a new football head coach, Neal Brown. I mentioned it briefly yesterday. I do think this is a decent hire. You got to remember what qualifies as a good hire at North Texas is not the same, at Florida or LSU or Penn State. Speaking of Penn State, I don't know what's going on in Penn State. It's a disaster. But Neil Brown, overall, I thought he was decent at West Virginia. Didn't end very well, but overall, I thought he did a decent job. West Virginia, they weren't great with him, but they were, I think he was tuned to over 500 with them. They've been well under 500 since he left. Did a pretty good job at Troy. I think he was the assistant head coach, of Texas this past year. Texas, of course, their coach left for Oklahoma State. I think this is a decent hire for North Texas. Gotta remember, this is North Texas. This is not, even a school like Arkansas or UCLA. It's North Texas. If they can win 10 games and be competitive in the American Conference, whatever conference they're in, and give them a shot to maybe the group of five team that makes the 12 team playoff. You have to get slapped in the first round. That's more than good enough at a school like North Texas. Because this isn't, the Longhorns. This isn't Oklahoma. It's North Texas. I think this is a good hire by North Texas. NBA power rankings. Hawks and basketball, my first NBA power rankings of the year. Figured it'd be a good time to do it. We're about 20 or so games in. We're about a quarter into the season, in-season tournament finishing up. So I figured this would be a good time. So I got number 30, the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets are just utterly terrible. They are so bad. They can't score. Their defense is only so good. Like what pieces do I have? Cam Thomas is hurt again. Michael Porter Jr. has been pretty good, but it's honestly weird seeing him in a Nets jersey, if I'm being completely honest. Claxton is a good player. Like they had a historically bad draft. You had five first round picks in one draft. How you not, you don't move up and get up, you know, a potential star. You don't trade one for another really good player. How? Like you got Igor Femin, who could be pretty good. The kid, who's a kid that you took late? Um, Wolf, Denny Wolf, you took late in the first. Could be pretty good. The other three were absolutely awful picks. You're screwed. Sean Marks is a joke. I'll hate Jordy Fernandez. It's not his fault. I mean, they're 5-16. They're absolutely terrible. They haven't beaten the Knicks in years. They're just hopeless. I know, from a win-loss perspective, there's a few teams better than them right now, but just where do you go? Like, where do you go from here? They're just depressing. They're just depressing to watch. Like, they're hardly even competitive out there. And then at 30, excuse me, at 29, damn, there's only two teams about the NFL. There's only 30 in the NBA. 29 is the Washington Wizards. Newsflash, the Wizards suck. That's nothing new. Couple of young pieces there. Alex Sars, who was the second pick last year, is having a better season. But like Blue Cool Ball, he hasn't shown a whole lot. He's a former top 10 pick, I think from 2 years ago. And there just is not a whole lot to cheer about in Washington. Like you're after a pretty good kid this year, but still like just a god awful basketball team. You're 3-17. Last year you won what? What was it? 14 or 15 games, whatever it was. I expect them to be about that. Maybe a few more. You might win like 20, but you're not gonna win many more than that. At 28th is New Orleans Pelicans. The Pelicans are absolutely screwed. So Zion is on this huge deal. He's hurt again, out at least 3 weeks. They have to trade him. I like what's his name? Jeremiah Fears, Jermaine Fears. A Zero Fears is a cool nickname. But there's just nothing else there. Deontay Murray's coming off from injury. I'm not sure if he's back yet. And though you brought CJ McCollum in the offseason. He's stuck in Washington now. I don't know what the Pelicans are doing. Oh, and they traded up for Derek Queen. I like Derek Queen. I think he can be a very good player, good big man. But you gave up your first round pick in this year's draft. Why would you do that when you know you weren't going to be very good? And like, why would you do that? You already fired the coach, I think, and Willie Green. Did they fire Willie Green? I believe they thought they might have. I forget. No, no, yeah, they fired him. They were joking. They don't have a first round pick. They're screwed. They have to get something for Zion. Just blow it up. I like Fears. Other than that, you have Queen, the two kids that you just drafted. Get something for Zion. I don't know what you'll get for him. He's always hurt. He's not what we all thought he was going to be. Major bust. Obviously, the off the court stuff. He's had some weird stuff going on that we've heard about. Obviously, he's been out of shape at times. Get something for this guy because he's just not it. 27 of the Indiana Pacers. Now, I think we all knew that they were going to take a step back with Tyrese Halliburton injured for the season, Miles Turner heading to Milwaukee. But I didn't think it'd be this bad. I've been a little bit surprised. They're 4-18. Then again, not having Halliburton, one of the best point guards in the NBA, one of the best players in the NBA, maybe the best overall passer, what he did in the playoff, historic playoff run. Obviously, Miles Turner was a great stretch five that you had on your team, very good player. Another homegrown guy. He leaves in for agency, which is a bit of a surprise. Um, I know that they were going to take a step back. I didn't think they would be this bad. They're 0-10 on the road, which is crazy. I mean, 4-8 at home still isn't good, but like they're 0-10 on the road, which is wild. They're very, very bad. Honestly, they at this point, I would just from them. You don't need to do anything. You don't got to sell off on any piece unless you have anybody who's going to be a pending for age. I don't think anybody major. But you're going to get Halliburton back next season. That's going to be a big boost. But if you can get a high pick, draft another really good player. It could be like the Golden State Warriors. You go to the finals all those years in a row. No, Indiana is different. They're a young team that hadn't really had much playoff success. You go to the Eastern Conference Finals, then the following year you go to the finals, you lose Halliburton, Miles Turner leaves, and now it's just this one year. But Golden State was different because they were a legit dynasty. The one year where Steph Curry was injured, Clay was injured, Draymond was injured. They just lost Kevin Durant. Andre Iguodala they got rid of, and they had like one of the worst teams in the league, and they ended up with the second pick. Granted, James Wiseman was a miss, but then the following year, getting Steph back, getting Clay back, getting Draymond back, you add a couple of role players, and you went out and won a championship. Maybe in that could be in a similar spot. You're like, all right, you go to the finals, you're in Game 7, Halliburton gets hurt, Miles Turner leaves, but all right, you have a brutal season. You end up being a bottom five team in the league. You get a top five pick, and then maybe, but the next year, Halliburton comes back. You still have your core outside of Miles Turner. If you can draft a really good big man to maybe replace him next year, high of a draft who's really good, the team could be right back in that title conversation next year. So I wouldn't panic, but they are very bad right now. At 26, I have Los Angeles Clippers. This team is a absolute disaster. They are 6-16. They just cut Chris Paul because he criticized the front office. The team is ancient. Bradley Beal's out for the year. I said it yesterday. Get something for a lot of these guys. Get something for Kawhi. Get something for James Harden. Vika Zubac, can you move him as well? Like this team is a joke. All these guys, Lawrence Frank and all those dudes with the front office, and now like the owner was like having like some sort of random company pay Kawhi Leonard more money than he was making, so he was happy with the Clippers, which is illegal. They're in that scandal. This team is a disaster, an absolute disaster. When they said like all like these random vets like Chris Paul and Bradley Beal in the offseason, people tried to hype them up as like, oh, a legit playoff contender. I'm sitting here like, no, you're not. You're a literal retirement home. If you're lucky, you'll be the sixth seed in the West and get clamped in the first round by Denver or something. Again. No. No. I mean, and I didn't even think they'd be this bad. Like, they suck. They are cooked. Absolutely cooked. They're a retirement home. Blow it up. And Tyler, that guy's a joke. I'm sorry. He's not that good of a coach. He's really not. 25 is the Sacramento Kings. Just another team that's just in NBA hell. A couple of years ago, you start to really build something. You had Sabonis, and all of a sudden the Halliburton didn't look that bad. You get Sabonis. You had De'Aaron Fox, always other good young pieces like Malik Monk. Then you bring in Keegan Murray through the draft. You have all these other guys, and then you decide let's build the 2020 Chicago Bulls. Let's go out and sign DeMar DeRozan on guy who can't play defense, can't shoot the three. He's 30 something, 30, what is he, 35 years old. Then you trade for Zach LaVine. You give up for what? You give up a couple of players and some picks for Zach LaVine. I have no idea why. And Keegan Murray, who is not the player we all thought he was going to be, since he was a fourth pick. He's at a best and average star in the NBA. You give him 145 million in the offseason. It's like, what are you doing? Like you So you trade Halliburton for Domantas Sabonis, so that you could keep De'Aaron Fox. 'Cause you didn't think those two guys could coexist. First of all, I love De'Aaron Fox, underrated player, great player. Terrence Halliburton is a better player. And then to trade De'Aaron Fox, granted, you get a lot back. You get back a couple players, get back what would you get like three first rounders, whatever you got back. But now you have nothing. Like this team isn't good. Now you fired Mike Brown last year for I have no idea why. You're 5-17. Sabonis is hurt. Uh, Tear everything apart. Levine, get something for Zach Levine. Get something for DeMar DeRozan. You got a pretty good return for De'Aaron Fox, but when Smells comes back, move him. He should be one of the top targets at this trade deadline. Flip Keon Ellis. Everybody, get something for everybody. Blow it up. You're an NBA How. Try and do your best to try and get out of it. Okay, because this team is just again cooked. At 24th, I have a Charlotte Hornets. At the beginning of the year, I didn't hate what they had going for them, but very young team. Con Newpel has been outstanding. That guy is shooting the lights out. Great pick with the fourth overall pick. I didn't hate them taking a shot on Liam McNeely at the end of the first round. Brandon Miller is very good, but LaMelo Ball, he's a very good player. I do think he's a bit overrated. People act like he's like, this superstar player. Like, I don't think he is, but he is a great player. I know he said he would rather be traded. I think you should move him. You're not close to contending for anything. He's the only piece you can really get something for. Well, yeah, you could get something for Brandon Miller, like a lot for him, but that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to trade him. What is he, 21, 22 years old? If healthy, he's very good. I like Kanibu. That guy can shoot the lights out. I like them getting off of Mark Williams, getting the picks from Mark Williams. I thought that was a good deal by them. So, like, I don't hate what they've done this last year or so, but trade them out. You should be able to get back a couple of very good players, a couple of first round picks. You should be able to get a lot back for him. He is not the perfect player because of his defensive limitations, but very good scorer. He's gotten better with the 3-point shot, though he isn't great. Great pass, one of the best passers in basketball. He's on a big deal, but at least he's signed. He's still in his prime. Also, the injuries are a concern, but they should be able to get a lot for him. I would move LaMelo Ball, but so you're somewhat competitive, but still aren't good by any means. You are 6-16. 23rd is Dallas Mavericks. I mean, well, what else is there to say about Dallas Mavericks? Are 8-15. AD is hurt. I'm a trade block. Kyrie is still hurt. Cooper Flag is overall has looked good. But he's playing point guard. He's not a point guard, and just what's left? Clay's at the end of his career. I like Derek Loud. I like Daniel Gafford. I like PJ Washington, but they just don't have enough. Luka Trey was just obviously historically bad, and just they got guys hurt, guys playing at that position. They're just a mess. They're just a complete mess. At 22 is the Utah Jazz. Okay, they're not as bad as I thought they would be. But I think they should trade Laurie Markkinen. They kind of shook up the core a little bit in the offseason. You traded a couple pieces away. You trade away Colin Sexton. You buy out Jordan Clarkson. So you did a little bit of a shakeup. A couple of young pieces we're still kind of figuring what they are, like Taylor Hendricks. No, you drafted Ace Bailey very high this year in the top five. But Laurie is the only piece you can get something for. This team is not good enough to compete for anything. So trade him. They should trade him. He's a very good player. If you put him next to a guy like, um, if you were to put him next to like a elite guard, like a healthy Tyrese Halliburton, that wouldn't be till next year. Obviously, even a Jalen Brunson with the Knicks. I'm not sure the Knicks should go after him, but I think that would be a good fit, for Laurie Markkinen. Like that kind of deal. I think Markkinen fits better, and you should be able to get a lot for him. He's a very good player. He's got, what, 4 years left on his deal. For a lot of money, but I think you would get a lot for Laurie Markkinen. In fact, I wouldn't have even signed him. I would have traded him and not signed him last year, but did have a down year last year, but he's had a better year this year. At 21st, are the Milwaukee Bucks. I mean, they're 10-13. How do you have Giannis Antetokounmpo on your team, and you're not even in the plan in the East, in maybe the worst Eastern Conference we've seen in years? How? I do not get it. It's so pathetic. It is so pathetic. They're playing horrible. Now Giannis, report came out that Giannis, he's talking about his future with the Bucks, whether the long-term solution should be him staying in Milwaukee or playing elsewhere. A resolution expected in the next few weeks, and the very next game they play, Giannis rolls his ankle or whatever he did. He's got a calf strain. It's at 2 to 4 weeks. And they're gonna fall. They're gonna fall completely out of this thing. But right now, like they could make the plan. The East is a complete joke. It's a just a complete cluster bleep. But if they don't have him for 3 weeks, I don't know how many games they're. If he misses 10 games, I don't know their schedule is. Like, let's take a look at the Bucks schedule. Let me take a look at their next 10 games. Let's just let's take a look at that. Let's take a look at what they have going for them. Their next 10 game, it's Philly on the road against Detroit, Boston on the road against Brooklyn, at home against Toronto, Minnesota. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. The next four are on the road against Indiana, on the road against Memphis, the road against Chicago, on the road against Charlotte. How many games do they win? Obviously, it's the NBA. Stuff crazy stuff's gonna happen. Long season. Great teams are gonna lose to bad teams here and there. Like you could, like all right, maybe it'll be Indiana, who's kind of a shell of themselves. Brooklyn's a joke. Maybe Philadelphia. You play them on tomorrow. You're at home. You never know what the injuries with that squad, but right now they're relatively healthy. Other than that, outside of like maybe Charlotte, you could beat. They're not very good. Chicago isn't playing very well. Memphis is kind of a mess. Brooklyn's a joke. Like maybe you win 4 of those games, and he misses them in our schedule isn't that bad, but like I don't see you beating Detroit, especially on the road. They're playing their ass off. I don't think you beat Boston. They're playing well. Toronto, you're not going to be. I don't see you beating Minnesota on the road. Kind of a coin flip against Memphis, coin flip against Chicago. Uh, don't think you beat Philadelphia tomorrow. And then you should beat Charlotte, but I'm not even sure about that. Like you're done. You're done. I would trade him. Okay, there's nothing you can't you failed to build around him. There's nothing else you could do. You don't have the cap, you don't have the picks for him. You trade him, whether it's to the Knicks, the Spurs, get something for him. You know, get back some expirings to make the money work. Maybe you could use those guys to either flip for more picks or, again, they'll come out the books next year. You'll save a lot of money in the next couple of years. And then get back as many picks as you can. Just cut your losses. You got your ring of him, move on. 20th is the Memphis Grizzlies. They need to trade John Morant. He can't be the guy that your one, your bus driver, your building block. He's not a good 3-point shooter. He's obviously a small player. Was he 6'1", 6'2", point guard, can't shoot, doesn't play a whole lot of defense. Off the court concerns, medical concerns. No, see ya. Bye. You gotta get something for John Moran. Look, you got 4 first round picks, 4 or 5 first round picks for Desmond Bane, plus KCP, who's a good player. They could probably get a good return for John Morant. Like they're not bad. They're 9-13 right now, but just at best they're gonna lose in the play-in. They're not that good. A couple of pieces I like. Jaren Jackson is a great defensive player, but can't really space the floor. Other than that, like what do you have? There's a couple of decent role players like G.G. Jackson and Jalen Wells and Ty Jerome, but they're continuing just tearing this thing down. Okay, just tear this thing apart. Uh, I would trade John Morant for something. Um, Number 19, unless it's the Portland Trailblazers. So we'll say this: they've held together better than I thought, considering they got woken up in the middle of the night. Oh yeah, your coach is going to jail for gambling with Trophy Billups. But you're 9-13, and that's him. They just have so many done pieces there. Obviously, you traded Simons to Boston for Drew Holiday, which doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. I think they're gonna have to move somebody else. I know like Jeremy Grant, the guy that they could move. Maybe Rob Williams, they could get something for him. Now there are some young pieces I like. I like Shaedon Sharpe. Scoot played a little bit better last year. He's gonna be healthy soon. You have some pieces that I like there. Denny Alvi is a really good player. Too Kamara is a great defensive player. So you have some pieces there, but they really gotta try and identify their core pieces in Portland. Obviously, help that your coach or was your coach is now going to jail. That doesn't help matters for sure. At 18, five the Chicago Bulls. They started off really well. What are they, 6-1? People are like, oh, the Bulls were contender. I said, no, they're not, and they're not. They have lost five in a row. They're 9-12. I like some of the guys there. Josh Giddey is playing his ass off. Kudos to him after he had that whole off the court weird debacle. They've been able to kind of get him recuperate. He's picked up where he left off at the end of last year. He's a very good player. I like Ayo Dosunmu, very good point guard. When he was coming out of Illinois, I said this guy's gonna be really good. I would have taken him a lot higher than he went in the draft. He's a good player. But other than that, like Kobe White, I think he's a good player. I think he'll be a free agent. He could be a trade chip. Definitely got to Nikola Vucevic. He's not the same player. Get something for him. So you have a couple of young players I like. I don't hate Matas Buzelis either. He was a first rounder last year, but was even stuck in mediocrity for a few years now. I mean, you got no draft picks for Alex Caruso, DeMar DeRozan, and Zach LaVine. You didn't get a single draft pick for any of those guys. You let DeRozan walk for nothing. LaVine, they can get you got back a young player or two. You got back Josh Giddey for Caruso, which was a good trade. Caruso's been a key piece of the Thunder's bench, but Josh Giddey is a great player who's in his prime. But they're not getting any picks. Like, I don't know what that front office is doing. They're a joke over there. They've been irrelevant since Jordan left. Let's be honest. They've been irrelevant. Outside that one little run with Derrick Rose and company with Tom Thibodeau was the coach, they've been irrelevant. 17th is the Golden State Warriors. They're hurt right now. Stephen Curry's hurt, so they're also struggling. But you're at 500. I think they're going to be just fine. That's a very good team. They're old, they're ancient, but that is a good team. Steph Curry is still an incredible player, one of the greatest of all time. Jimmy Butler's still a very good player. Draymond is an asshole, not the same player, overrated player all time, though he's been going back and forth with Kenyon Martin, but still a good defender. And you brought in Al Horford, who's still a good big man. He can still score the basketball. You got a very good squad over there. Buddy Hield can shoot. That is a good team. That could be a dangerous team once they get to the playoff because of their championship experience. But they definitely miss Steph Curry a lot. That's very, very apparent. But I amend them for really truly hanging in there at 500, not completely falling off without Steph Curry. I think they'll be just fine when he gets back. 16th is the Philadelphia 76ers. So obviously Embiid missed a lot of games. Paul George hasn't played a whole lot. But they're 13-10, and Tyrese Maxey, bit of a down year last year. He's had an even better year. He's been great. That kid VJ Edgecombe is a dog. He had, 34 in his first ever game. That guy's a stud. That was a great draft pick by the 76ers. Look, they're a very, very talented team, but they just have a lot of injuries. But I don't think they'll be much better than this. Just sneaking into the playoffs. Uh, Even if they're healthy, beyond the story with Joel Embiid. I don't expect him to play a ton of games. I don't think Paul George will play that many games either. But Maxey Edgecombe gives you a legit backcourt for a long time. At 59, the Boston Celtics. So they started off really bad. They're playing a lot better. They're at 12-9. You had big win over the Knicks the other night. Tough loss for the Knicks. But look, Simons has been pretty good. He's a good scorer. Jaylen Brown's been great. Dark White's still a very good player. You have a couple of younger guys stepping up like Neemias Queta, Jordan Wall. So you're relying on a lot of guys like that. Obviously, this is a transitional year for both. But right now, you're 12-9, and you're in the playoffs. At 14th is the Phoenix Suns. They've played some very good basketball. The Suns. Suns right now are see what their record is. They are 13-9, so they're playing well. Devin Booker is great. You brought in Mark Williams, who is kind of a limited player, not a good defender. Hurt a lot, but is a great rebounder. He's a very good rim runner for sure. Dylan Brooks has really stepped up. He's played really well. Like, Dylan Brooks is a dickhead, but he's a guy that every team should want on their team. He's a good player, great defender. He's tough to play against. He's annoying to play against. He can shoot. He's a good player, Dylan Brooks. I'm telling you, he is a good player. Annoying, but he's a very good player. The Suns maybe start to turn the corner. See what happens. Playing well right now at 13th out of the Atlanta Hawks. They're but going in, I thought, all right, not a true contender, but the East is so weak, they'll probably be top five in the conference. Started out a little slow. They're playing a little bit better. You're at 13 and 10. And there's been speculation maybe they could trade for Giannis. Not sure if that will happen. They have some pieces like Trae Young's a great point guard. I do think he's a little bit overrated. He's so limited because of how bad he is on defense, but he can shoot the lights out, great passer. They have some young guys like Jamin Johnson is really good. I think will end up being their best player in a year or two. You have Porzingis on expiring. He's still a pretty good player. Obviously, he's got great size, can shoot, can play defense. Obviously, won a championship with the Boston Celtics 2 years ago. Dyson Daniels had a big year last year. You have a lot of good young pieces. Asa Newell, Kongu's been pretty good this year. So you have a good young team. Core starting to come together. And you can see what they do at the deadline or maybe even in the offseason. Like I could see them like I've heard like Giannis stuff. If they can trade Giannis while keeping a lot of their core because they have a lot of picks, you build a package around Trae Young and you send Porzingis expiring, and you could keep Jalen Johnson and that Dyson Daniels, maybe even Zachary Sachet, you're the first pick in the draft last year. If you can keep at least two of those guys and you get Giannis, they could be a real contender. So we will see what happens. We got at 12th is Minnesota Timberwolves. They're a good team. They're at 13 and 8. Anthony Edwards is great. We all know that. Gobert, I think a bit overrated, but he is a good rim protector. Nas Reed and Mike Conley. It's basically the same group as last year. Rob Dillingham's playing pretty well. They need, I think, a little bit more from him. Him and Terrence Chen need those two guys to step up. You drafted them last year for a reason. But right now you're at 13 and 8. Then we got at 11th, you have the Cleveland Cavaliers, 13 and 10. I did think they'd be a little bit better, but I'm starting to realize something. They're not bad by any means. They're a good team. Donovan Mitchell's a great player, great scorer, but they just don't have enough, I don't think. I like Evan Mobley, great defender, defensive player of the year. But we're all waiting for this guy to take an offensive leap. It hasn't come yet. I don't think it's going to happen. I like Darius Garland, very good player, great, offensive player, but doesn't play all over defense. Is hurt a lot. Hasn't come up big in some big games. Other than that, outside of DeAndre Hunter, they don't have much of a bench. They don't have a ton of depth. Like they're a good team. Like they're definitely one of the better teams on both ends of the floor. But they're just so thin. I have a hard time seeing them make a deep playoff run. But right now, you're a good team. You're at 11. Top 10. Number 10 out of the year, I have the Orlando Magic. Um, they're a good team. Started out a little bit slow. They've been playing some better basketball. You're 13 and 9. Paolo, I still believe in Paolo. I think he's very good. Franz, they're both very good players. Not ready to break them up yet like everyone else is. Suggs is a really good player, especially on the defensive end. That's a good young group that you have. Bane's been a big pickup. We have a lot of picks for him, but he has been a really, really good pickup. They're a team I think I would like to see make a move at the trade deadline. Go and get one more really good floor spacer because that's a very good team. They're good defensively. Got a lot of good young talent. Got a lot of size. Wendell Carter, Anthony Black, and those kinds of players. But they're a good team. I'd like to see them make kind of take a move to kind of push them more about over the top, but the East is wide open. If you can just, get that one missing piece, I like Jamal Mosley, the coach as well. They could be in a good spot come playoff time in the Eastern Conference. At 9, I have the Denver Nuggets. They're very good. They're 15 and 6, one of the best teams in the NBA. Nikola Jokic is doing his thing. Jamal Murray, he's a good player. He had 52 last night. I like Cam Johnson. Do they have enough for a deep player? I don't know. I'm not sure about that bench. They're not great defensively. But they're a great team. As long as they have Jokic, they'll be fine. Right now, I have them at 9. At 8, I have the Spurs. I know Wembanyama's hurt, but they're hanging in there. Right now, still 15 and 6. Still playing well. De'Aaron Fox is back. He's really good. They have so much young talent with Castle and Dylan Harper. So this is still a very good team. And Victor right now, what, 4th in the Western Conference? Once Wembanyama gets back, they are going to be in a great spot. They are a team that should make a run of Giannis because they can give up a lot and still, have a ton still left on the roster. And just putting Giannis and Wembanyama together, like that shouldn't even be allowed. Like it's not even fair. That's literally like when you play like NBA 2K and you like force a trade to go through, and you have this crazy, just fancy super team. Like that is just nuts. But they're a great team. Seven was the Houston Rockets. Kevin Durant's played well. Got a lot of our good young pieces with Amon Thompson, uh, and company over there. Jabari Smith, Alfred Sengun was really good. They're another team. This is a very good team. Right now, you're third in the West. I would like to see them go out and make a move. I know losing Fred VanVleet for the year right before the year definitely hurt. I would like to see them honestly. I could see them making a run on a guy like John Morant or LaMelo Ball. Get yourself a point guard like that. You have a lot of young talent. You have the picks. Do it. At number five, excuse me, number six, I have the Miami Heat. Miami's played some really good basketball this year. They're very good. They're 14-8. Hero was hurt for a while. He's back. He's very good. Bam's a great defender. One of the best defensive players in basketball. Great big man. They got a lot of good young players on my team. Jaime Jaquez is very good. I like Khalil Ware a lot. That guy is got a really deep bag for a guy who's that size. This is a very good team. Norman Powell is a huge pickup. That guy could shoot the lights out. He's really good. He was good last year for the Los Angeles Clippers. He averaged over 20 points a game last year. That was a great pickup by the Heat. This is a good basketball team. Obviously, Spoelstra is one of the greatest coaches of all time. But that's a really good basketball team. Okay, that's a good team. They could make some noise in the Eastern Conference this year. Top five. Five, I have the Toronto Raptors. This is a really good team. Right now, RJ Barrett's hurt, but Manuel Quickly's very good. He's been healthy. He's a really good player. Scotty Barnes has had a good year. I do think he's a bit of a limited ceiling, but they're 15-7 right now. They're playing well. Barnes is a very good two-way player. Pearl is a good big man. You have some nice pieces on the bench like Jacoby Walter, Gregory Dixon, a good player. They got a lot of nice young pieces. There's been some there now who's been kind of been talked about for maybe Giannis. I'd like to see them make a move. I think if Sabonis is healthy and he's available, they should go and get DeMontis Sabonis. They can finally do it with keeping Jakob Poeltl. This is a team that could now you get a lot better offensively, you get a lot better defensively, and the size advantage you'll have over a lot of other teams will be huge as well. That's a very good team that is playing really well. Fourth, I have the New York Knicks. They're at 14-7. Put them ahead of Toronto just because the Knicks beat them in their early matchup. Look, this is a good team. Jalen Brunson has been fantastic. Uh, he's been great. Towns overall has played well. You got obviously Mikal Bridges overall has been good this year. Had 35 against Boston in the loss. You're hurt. OG is hurt right now. Landry Shamet's a key bench pieces might be out for the year. But you have legit benches here with Deuce McBride, who's gotten better every year. I like Yabusele, and when Jordan Clarkson, Mike Brown's a new coach in town. They're not very good defensively. They're inconsistent defensively, but they can rebound about as well as anybody. Got a lot of good size. They're elite offensively. They're taking more threes than they were last year, playing faster. Overall, they're a good team. They're at 14-7. Are they a great team? I don't know. Can they come out of the East? I don't know. I like to see the Knicks make one more move. Maybe get yourself, one more 3-and-D piece in there at the trade deadline. At three, I have Los Angeles Lakers. And look, LeBron's a complete joke at this point, but Luka's playing out of his mind. I was one of the best players in the league. Austin Reeves is having a career year. Hachimura's a good player. Aiton's had a good year. He's had maybe the best year of his career. Marcus Smart is a good defender. This is a good team. They're very good. I feel like LeBron holds them back, but they'll never trade him. They should, but they won't. This is a great team. At number two, I have the Detroit Pistons. They are just playing out of their mind. They are 17-5. Cade's great. Ivy's been great. Jalen Duren needs more respect. That guy is really good. He should be on the All-NBA team this year. Keep this up. He is really good. Does everything. He can score. Great rebounder. Protects the rim at an elite level. All three of those. He's really good, Jalen Duren. And they have a good depth. Tobias Harris is a good player. Duncan Robinson was a good pickup. This is a very good team. In fact, I think come trade deadline, it will be a good idea for them to pick up on another piece or two if they really want to make a run. Right now, I don't think they have to. This team is firing on all cylinders. I think they're fine. They're the best team in the Eastern Conference. You're really young, don't need to mortgage a farm right away. Just keep building. And everyone's out to the Oklahoma State Thunder. They are ridiculous. They are 21-1. And Jalen Williams, our second best player, has played like 5 games. Shai is playing out of his mind. You just got J.J. back. Chet's playing really well. You got all these pieces on the bench. All this depth with Luke Dort and Alex Caruso. And Nicole Topic, we all thought they're going to get back. Unfortunately, he's battling testicular cancer. Wish him a speedy recovery. If they get him back, that guy's a really good player. He was a top 10 pick 2 years ago. He was hurt last year. This team is just absolutely ridiculous. They can shoot the lights out. They're the best defensive team in basketball. They're having, one of the best defensive seasons of all time. They're one of the best defensive teams ever last year. They're even better defensively this year. They are absolutely ridiculous. They've won 13 in their early balls, 1 game all season, and it's literally the first week in December. Christmas is in 3 weeks. They're ridiculous. They are the best team in the National Basketball Association. We're actually going to double up on power rankings. Going to do my NFL power rankings now. Let's get into it. 32 is Tennessee Titans. They are utterly terrible. They are 1-11. Kim Moore does not look very good at all. Not much of a running game. Tony Pollard looks pretty washed. Tyler Spears isn't anything special. No weapons. The offensive line is terrible. The defense is okay, but they're exhausted because they're out there all the time. Already fired the coach. They suck. They are absolutely terrible. I expect them to have the first pick in the draft. At 31 is Las Vegas Raiders. It wasn't the Titans. They'd definitely be the worst team in football. They are just an absolute other joke. And to explain what's going on with them, and like people are like, how is Pete Carroll not, he fits so badly, how this happened? So it was pretty clear that Tom Brady wanted Ben Johnson. He had because he's also a broadcaster, he had gotten to know Ben Johnson before some of the games. He really liked him. He was obviously a hot candidate. He really, really wanted him. He was courting him to come to the Raiders. And then didn't really have a backup plan. He ended up taking the Bears job. So now they were kind of screwed. So they were like, oh, Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll, even though he's 74 years old, doesn't fit the modern NFL, doesn't fit their team at all. It's just, and then he brings in Chip Kelly as his offensive coordinator. Chip Kelly, at both the NFL level and the college level, has proven when he does not have elite athletes, he cannot get the job done. Like when he was at Oregon as a head coach, and he had, you know, he was able to bring in some of the top players in the country and have elite athletes. They were good. Oregon was very good every single year. Then the first part of his Eagles tenure, they were a good team because he had elite level talent. Then when he traded a bunch of them away, the team sucked. He goes to the 49ers. They didn't have elite talent. The team was unwatchable. They won like 2 games all year. He gets fired after 1 year. Goes to UCLA, same thing. Now the Raiders, they were saying like he was like forgetting to call a play. It was just ridiculous. And then going back to Pete Carroll, look, I love Pete. He's had a great career. Super Bowl winning head coach. Very good coach. He's had a nice career. Just not a good fit. Like, not only is he 74 years old on one of the youngest teams in the league, just personality-wise, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, it's just such a terrible fit, and he has to be gone for the year. If I'm John Spike, I'm going to Brady. First of all, this is on Tom Brady. He wanted Carroll. He wanted Chip Kelly. These are his guys. If I'm John Spike, I'm going to him and Mark Davis and being like, look, I know you brought these guys in, but we need to tear this thing down. Okay, please let me fire Pete Carroll. Apparently Pete's now been meddling too much in the offense. It's getting bad. It's getting bad. They're unwatchable. The Raiders. They're 2-10. 30 is the Saints. They're at 2-10 as well. They also suck. Got Tyler Shuck playing quarterback. I'm Kamara. Got Devin Neal as your starting running back. Chris Olave is your only real weapon. The offensive line is absolutely terrible. Their defense is absolutely terrible. Uh, Kellen Moore, I mean, he hasn't been great, but I'll expect him to do a whole lot with this roster. 29th is New York Giants. They are also a two-win team, 2-10. Jackson Dart, I said it before. He shouldn't be out there. Shouldn't the rest of the year. If Terrell Tracy's hurt, their only running back they have now is Devin Singletary. Their best weapon is now Wonder Up, who has had a good year, but he's not a star. They have no offensive line. The defense is absolutely terrible. Coach is already fired. They fired the defensive coordinator. The offensive coordinator, Mike Kafka, is the interim head coach. They already fired the defensive coordinator, so they really have no true play callers. They're just a joke. They're terrible. And now their kicker been a carousel for 3 years now. Koo kicked the ground to the ball last week against the Patriots. They are just an other joke. 28th is the Cleveland Browns. They're not good by any means. They have no pass coverage, so they're absolutely sucks. Judkins is a very good back. But Joe Juice was here, but a lot of drop issues. The offensive line is absolutely terrible. They have a good defense. Myles Garrett's is going to run away with Defensive Player of the Year. He has 19 sacks. He's a chance to get the all-time sack record. Better than that. Not a whole lot going for the Browns. Now they open up Deshaun Watson's practice window, so he might play before the end of the year. I have no idea why. Cut him at this point and eat the money. There's nothing else to do. But they're very bad. They're 3-9. I have a hard time seeing Kevin Stefanski coming back. Andrew Barry shouldn't come back either. 27th is the Atlanta Falcons. This team is so freaking bad. We're like 4-8, 4-9. Obviously, Kirk Cousins is absolutely cooked is now your quarterback. Drake London is hurt. Love Bijan, but they're completely wasting him. But defense isn't very good. Raheem Morris is utterly horrid. He is absolutely atrocious as a head coach. Seems like a nice guy. I'll take him as a defensive coordinator or something, but he is not a head coach at this level. He just isn't. The Falcons absolutely suck. They only have a first round pick. They have a ninth pick in the draft right now, unless he's in them today or something like that. They are utterly terrible. At 26, I have New York Jets who move up a bit to 26. They've played better these last few weeks. You come back and when they come against the Bengals, come out of the bye, you beat Cleveland, who sucks. Uh, Loses the Patriots, that didn't look great, but you still winning against Atlanta, and just a really ugly finish to that game. I mean, cool, good for you. Now you're losing to a draft position again. Right now, I think you have the seventh pick in the draft. You're 3-9, so I don't trust Aaron Glenn. But Tyrod Taylor has actually played pretty well. Why did Justin Fields start? Ever? Why? If they start Tyrod Taylor, they would have at least 5 wins, probably. They would have beaten Pittsburgh in week one, I think. I think they would have they would definitely beat Denver in London. They might have beaten Tampa. Like, this team wouldn't be that bad with Tyrod Taylor. And at least they're competing a lot more these last few weeks. Playing complementary football, they're playing better. But just it's the Jets. They're a joke. 25th is the Arizona Cardinals. They're 3-9. They suck. Brissett's played really well. Is really the only saving grace. The defense isn't very good. Gannon might get fired because this looks pretty bad. He already shouldn't though. He hasn't. I let him and Drew Petzing pick their quarterback. Kyler's a joke. Everyone's like, oh, they're still opening his practice window. Well, yeah, because they're just not playing him. That's not going to happen. 24th was Minnesota Vikings. They put them pretty low. They're 4-8. They have the worst quarterback room ever. People wonder why. Why would Kevin O'Connell put Carson Wentz out there injured? This is why. J.G. McCarthy blows, and Max Brosmer is somehow worse. I get it. Brosmer was an undrafted free agent. J.G. McCarthy was a 10th overall pick. He should be worse than him. But how do you play worse than that? Like, seriously. My God. Like, is there a chance they trade Justin Jefferson? They asked Adam Schefter on Get Up. He said, I haven't heard anything, but I didn't think they would trade. I didn't think Micah Parsons would get traded to the Packers either. I'm Justin Jefferson. I would say, get me out of here now. How do you have 4 yards? It can't be that hard. Throw the ball to Justin Jefferson. Okay? And everyone's saying, oh, he's got a bunch of drops. Because you always overthrow him and throw the ball behind him, so he's reaching back to grab it and it hits his fingertips barely. and it's getting counted as a drop. Their quarterback play is so bad, and that's a good team. They have some great weapons, both in the running with Aaron Jones and Jordan Mason, Jettas, Jordan Addison, Hawkinson. They have a good defense. Kevin O'Connell's a good coach. Brian Flores is a good defensive coordinator. Might be a head coach again next year. Like, what in the hell? I'm not even blaming Kevin O'Connell. I think he's a good coach. But I don't know how they picked JJ McCarthy over Sam Darnold. How did you do that? I don't get it. 23rd is the Miami Dolphins. I mean, they've won 3 games since they fired the GM. You beat the Bills, that was a crazy win, but then you barely beat what the Browns and the Saints. Like, I'm not moved. You're just losing draft position. You're giving Steven Ross a reason to possibly keep Mike McDaniel next year. Tua is meh. Um, like Atrian's a very good player. Jalen Waddle is obviously a big play threat, but the defense still isn't very good. They're 5-7. 22nd is the Washington Commanders. Again, injuries have absolutely killed them. The Marcus Mariota did play well last week against Denver. He did play his ass off for sure. But they're 3-9, and their whole team is hurt at this point. 21st is the Cincinnati Bengals. 4-8. Big win getting Joe Burrow back last week in Baltimore. Played great. Defense forces 5 turnovers. If they can find a way to beat the Bills in Buffalo this week, you get the Ravens at home, and you have 3 very easy games. And you have Miami, you have Cleveland, and somebody else pretty bad. They can find a way to beat the Bills. They might win out and still the AFC North. I mean, you're 4-8. Oh, if you don't, Zach Taylor, buy a plane ticket, get your LinkedIn profile going, because you absolutely suck. Okay, you suck. And I know the defense is terrible. Duke Tobin, the GM, should go too. His roster management's horrible, but if they don't win the division, sayonara. The AFC North is a joke. 20th is the Pittsburgh Steelers. They need to fire Mike Tomlin. He's had a very good career there. I think he's an overrated coach all the time, but he's had a great career there. He's been there for what? Like 17 or 18 years. Obviously, never had a losing season. He's won a Super Bowl, but when was the last time they won a playoff game? It's been like 13 years. Uh, they haven't won more than 10 games since that year they started out 11-0 and then completely collapsed in 2020. They're a joke at this point. I don't even blame Aaron Rodgers as much as I want to. He's 42. He's actually played well for a 42-year-old. Like, is he washed? Yeah. I don't blame him. He's 42 years old. I mean, the running has been a little better with Kenneth Gainwell coming alive with Jalen Warren, but Metcalf's their only weapon. Farmer's just okay. Jalen Smith has been, a ghost. Their defense is absolutely terrible. Tomlin's a joke. Like, he needs to go. It's just time. It's just time. 19th is Baltimore Ravens. They're almost as bad. Lamar Jackson has looked terrible since coming back from the injury. He's playing hurt. He's got to be. Why did Derrick Henry not give about like a whole half or a whole quarter of a carry in that game against the Bengals? Derrick freaking Henry. I know he's 31 years old, but come on. Really? Really? This team isn't that good. Lamar's playing hurt. Derrick Henry's still a great back, Hall of Famer, but he's getting older. You don't have a true number 2 receiver. They've extended Mark Andrews 3 years, 39.3 million, 26 million guaranteed. And look, he's had a great career there. This is year 9 for him, or year 8 for him. He's 30 years old. He's had 37 catches, 332 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Not the same player, but still a good tight end. That being said, an Asian tight end giving him 13 million a year, I don't think is that smart. I get it. He's been, your most reliable weapon Lamar's whole career. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. He's been an All Pro twice. But he's just not the same player anymore. I think that was too much money. I would have rather kept Isaiah Likely. He's a lot younger. But you know, and the defense is playing better. They're a little bit healthier, but they're still not that good. They're not all that. They're at 6-6 somehow in first place. They should have had this on lock. Their schedule was very easy after they got back with Lamar Jackson, but it hasn't gone that way. 18th is the Carolina Panthers. Very confusing team at 7-6. But look, they can run the football. Rico Dowell is very good. Tet's been great. The defense is very good. But just obviously Bryce Young has been very inconsistent. Tet's probably their only weapon. A lot of line's got some injuries. I do like Dave Canales. Very inconsistent, but they're ahead came out of first. 17th is the Kansas City Chiefs. Look, they're a mediocre football team. They are what they are. I love Patrick Mahomes. Overall, he's had a really good year. Last 2 years were actually down years for him, to be honest. But he's been even better than he was the last 2 years. But they have no running game whatsoever. Uh, you know, Pacheco isn't great. Hunt's a good goal line back. That's about it. Not three down back anymore. Hasn't been in years. Clyde isn't any good. Rasheed Rice is very good. Xavier is very good. But Kelsey, still a good tight end. One of the all-time greats, but not the same player. He's got his podcast now. He's married to Taylor Swift. We're going to be married to her. He doesn't care anymore. Still a good defense, but their pass rush is just awful. They can't stop the run. They're not as good defensively anymore. Not bad, but just not the same. I don't think they're going to get to the playoffs. They're going to have to win out. And I'm not sure that'll be a huge mistake. I pick them to win, but I'm very pessimistic about that. At 16, I have the Dallas Cowboys. Big win on Thanksgiving over the Chiefs. Before that, you come back and beat the Eagles. 6-7-1, playing really well. Their defense looked a lot better with Quinn and Williams in the middle there. Dak's had a really good year. Kudos to Dak. He's you know, having made the best year since like his second year in the league. He's been very good this year. The offensive score with anybody. They're 6-5-1. If they can find a way to get in, they could be a dangerous team. But they just got to get in first. And that they have a big test tonight against the Detroit Lions on the road. At 15, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. A ton of injuries, but Baker Mayfield has had a really good year. But Bucky Irving missed a lot of time. Mike Evans has been hurt for a while, though he might be coming back a little bit earlier than expected. Could play against the Saints this week. Excuse me, but a lot of injuries on the offensive line. A lot of injuries on defense. I don't think they're a well-coached team, but they're 7-5. They're hanging by a thread for the first place in the NFC South. 14th is the Houston Texans. They've been playing really well. They've won 7 of 9 since the 0-3 start. Stroud's back. He doesn't look right this year, but they're right there. They're only a game out of the playoffs, game out of the AFC South. They have the best defense in the NFL. Will Anderson, Neal Hunter, maybe the best pass rushing duo in football. They are elite. Derek Stingley is one of the best corners in all of football. He is a absolute stud dog. Mika Ryans is a great coach. Problem is on offense, Stroud is struggling. They have no running game. Nico Collins is really the only weapon outside the tight end Dalton Schultz. Their offensive line is absolutely horrible. But defensively, they are elite. Their defense is nuts. At number 13, Jacksonville Jaguars. Even Trevor Lawrence, not really playing very well. Brian Thomas is helping out. Jacoby Meyer was a great pickup. But defense has been decent. They're 8-4, and they're in first place. All right, first place is first place. 12th is the Chargers. Oh, look, by the way, kudos to Jim Harbaugh. People gotta stop getting on that guy. I've seen some fans get on him. They gotta stop. They have all these injuries now. Herbert might be hurt, and he's 8-4. And he's in the playoffs. How? I don't understand. Kudos to them. Thankfully, looks like you're getting back on Marion Hampton this week, so you'll have a legit running game. But Herbert might not play. He had surgery on his hand, his non-throwing hand. Herbert said he's planning to play, but still not certain. A lot of injuries on the offensive line. He's getting killed out there. A lot of injuries on defense. Same story with this team. They get hurt every year, and they get Herbert killed. 11th is the Detroit Lions. Look, right now they're at 11. They're still a good team, but I don't think they're making the playoffs. Jared Goff is very good. Jahmyr Gibbs is a dog. Great running game, but the interior of the offensive line is very, very bad. It's causing Jared Goff to make some mistakes. And Amon-Ra now hurt. I don't think he's going to play this week. Defensively, they're just not very good. Aiden Hutchinson's a great pass rusher, great player. Doesn't have a partner. Kirby Joseph, one of the league's best safeties, he's hurt. Terry Arnold's hurt. They just don't have enough. The secondary isn't very good. They just don't have enough defensively. Love Dan Campbell. I think Kelvin Shepard's done a good job with the defense, but they don't really have much of a play caller. It's Dan Campbell right now because John Morton is not good at his job. But the Lions have had a lot of regression this year, haven't won their divisional game. It's one thing they got swept by the Packers. To lose to the Vikings, come on. What are you doing? Top 10. At 10 are the Indianapolis Colts. So we'll have them at 10. They're struggling down the stretch here. Daniel Jones is playing through a major injury, but definitely is coming back to earth. Jonathan Taylor Had an incredible year, but the last couple of games hasn't played well. The defense is overall been good, but now Sauce Gardner being hurt, they got to be livid. They got two first round picks for the guy and A.D. Mitchell, who had a touchdown last week for the Jets. And Sauce Gardner comes in, uh, gives up that one touchdown 2 weeks ago against the Chiefs, and then hurts his ankle and is going to miss at least 2 or 3 games. Man, that's tough. But they better be careful. They're dropping into a wild card now. They better be careful. Nine for the Bears. I know we're 9-3, and they are the first place in the NFC, but they're barely beating bad teams. They played nobody. Caleb sucks. But the rest of the offense is very good. The offensive line's been a lot better. The defense overall has not been good, but they got Jalen Johnson and Kyler Gordon, your starting quarterback. Ben Johnson is a wizard. You're 9-3. Have you at 9. At 8th is the San Francisco 49ers. You're at 9-4. You've played through all these injuries. Purdy hasn't looked great, but look, Christian McCaffrey's been great. Pearsall's healthy. Jang is healthy. Kale's healthy. They don't have much of a pass rush, but they can score a lot of points. They're at 8 right now. Some about the Bills. Like the Bills, I think are frauds. They're 8-4. Josh Allen's been great, but he's had a couple of games he struggled in. James Cook has been great, but not much of a receiving core. The defense isn't very good. But you're 8-4 because of Josh Allen and James Cook. At 6, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. That offense is horrible. Jalen Hurts is just not he's not a good deep passer. They're forfeiting AJ Brown to keep them happy. Saquon hasn't had a good year. Now he's taking a major step back. The offensive line misses Lane Johnson a lot. The play calling is terrible between Kevin Batuo and Nick Sirianni. Sirianni is a horrible leader. The offense is terrible. The defense is getting tired. Now Jim O'Carry is going to play this week against the Chargers. Philly, they better be careful. They can't collapse again, otherwise Sirianni should be fired. Top 5. At 5, I have the Denver Broncos. Look, I know they are fraudulent. They are barely beating everybody, even bad teams. But they're 10-2. Their defense is beyond elite. Running game is holding together with RJ Harvey, but Sutton's rolling up in. Bo Nix has had some clutch moments, but overall, he's been not very efficient throwing the ball. Champagne's a great coach, but I don't see him doing anything in the playoffs. Problem is, they're unbeatable at home, and it's very tough to play in Denver. At 4, I have a New England Patriots. They've had a very easy schedule, the Patriots. They've played almost nobody, but the Bills are a good team who's in your division. You beat them. Tampa's a decent team. We're dealing with a lot of injuries. You beat them. You've beaten everyone. You're 11-2. You've won 10 in a row. Drake May is playing great. The running game has come alive with Trevion Henderson. Diggs has been really good. Hunter Henry's been great. The defense is really good. They're the league's best team against the run. Christian Gonzalez has been outstanding this year. They have a great pass rush. Mike Vrabel's a great coach. Perfect fit for that team, and they're a really good team. Third is the Green Bay Packers, 8-3-1. Like I know the offense has some concerns. Jordan Love can be inconsistent. Jane Reed's been out. Tucker Kraft is out, but Romeo Dubes is a good player. I know Golden's been in now. He hasn't really been used properly, but the running game hasn't as good with Josh Jacobs. Although Emmanuel Wilson has stepped in nicely for him when he's been hurt. That defense is top 5 in the league. Obviously, I think Michael Parsons has been very helpful. Not a Matt LaFleur guy, but look, they're winning games. They're 8-3-1. Second, it's the Seattle Seahawks. This is an elite team. They are absolutely elite. The only game they haven't really looked good in was the game against the Rams, who I think is the only team in the league better than them. Sam Darnold's played very well. They have a good running game overall with Zach Charbonnet and Kenneth Walker. Kenneth Walker on the early down, Charbonnet on the third and short, around the goal line. JSN has having had a historic year, the best receiver in the NFL right now. And Rashica, he was a good pickup. They have a great defense. Love what Mike McDonald has done. That's a very good team. Off the line isn't great, but overall, it's a really good team. I do think it's a true contender. And the best team in the NFL, I think, is still the Rams. You lose to the Carolina Panthers last week. When they're on, they are very good, Carolina. They have a good defense. Stafford with 3 turnovers. Don't think that happens again. I think he's still the MVP favorite. He's great. They're elite offensively. They have a good offensive line. They have a very good defense. Sean McVay is maybe the best coach in the NFL. He's probably the smartest coach in the NFL, elite play caller, and I'm impressed. I think the Rams are the best team in the NFL. Let's recap NXT, and then we will close this thing out. First match we had was Thea Hale against Ariana Grace. That started backstage. Of course, Thea Hale's been paired with Joe Hendry. Ariana Grace has been paired with Stax. Thea Hale picks up the win. We had Josh Briggs against Tavion Heights. Josh Briggs steals the win in that one. Then we had the Cunning, which is of course Izzy Dame and the two other dudes. One of them is Sean Spears, saying why she turned on Tatum Paxton. Then Tatum said like, "Oh, how could you do this?" She says, "I'm gonna make you feel all my pain at deadline when they're gonna have a match." So that should be a lot of fun to watch. Yeah, six-woman tag. It was Soruga, Lola Vice, and Kendall Gray against Fatal Influence. Soruga picks up the win for her team. Obviously, backstage, she was apologizing to Zarya, who wasn't happy. Then Zarya said, "I'm not going to be out there. You weren't out there for me for the Speed Championship match that Zarya lost." And then eventually, Zarya came out and she like speared Kendall Gray. It looked like she was aiming for Soruga. They got into the arguments. We'll see where that story goes. That's been a great story. Of course, Jason James still the NXT Women's Champion. Then we had OTM, stands for Out the Mud. They defeated Chase U in a tag match again. Then we had in the advantage match, Javon Evans, Leon Slater, Joe Hendry, and Miles Bourne won the eight-man tag against Dark State. Miles Bourne picked up the win, so he has the advantage in their match. Of course, Javon and Leon weren't very happy about that. And then he finished off. It was a contract signing between Obafemi and Ricky Saints. They would have an NXT Men's Championship match. And Ava Raine said, for the first time ever in NXT PLA, the NXT Championship is going to be the opener. So that makes me think not to do anything crazy. I think Saints is going to retain. I think Obafemi should be on the main roster. I think the next time we see him is probably in the Royal Rumble. But that was NXT. That's all I got for you guys today. Till next time, so long. Have a great day.